It is Friday, the 31st day of January 2020. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. Senior 4 UNEB results released, 92.2% pass. Results of 1,262 UCE candidates withheld. Elsewhere in the region, Kenya Airways suspends flights to China. And in sports transfer deadline, clubs busy transacting. Hello there and welcome once again. My name is Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. Now, the Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, is back from Djibouti, where he attended the Education Relief Foundation, a third forum for balanced and inclusive education. The purpose of this forum was to develop strategies to meet the UN Sustainable Development Goal 4 on inclusive and equitable quality education. Dr. Rugunda represented President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the conference organized by the Education Relief Foundation in conjunction with the Republic of Djibouti. Let's have more in this report.
Delegates from across the world gathered at Djibouti Palace, Kempinski, to share experience and to develop efficient collaborations in balanced and inclusive education. This international summit comes in a wake of challenges that have failed a more inclusive system of education for children, especially in the third world. The President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, in his welcome speech, said issues at the core of balanced and inclusive education were of keen interest to the African continent. He said Djibouti's commitment to achieve high standards in education led them to collaborate with the Education Relief Foundation to establish first pilot projects in balanced and inclusive education. He appreciated the honor given to his country to host this forum. He also thanked the Education Relief Foundation for their commitment to push the balanced and inclusive education as a foundation for equitable and sustainable development. The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, assured the gathering that in line with goal number 4 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals on inclusive and equitable quality education, Uganda was in full support, and accordingly, he signed the Universal Declaration on Balanced and Inclusive Education.
The government of Uganda has made progress towards ensuring that no one is left behind by putting in place a set of comprehensive framework and programs which have boosted access and perspective of learners, including those with special needs at all levels of education.
The President of the Education Relief Foundation, Sheikh Mansour bin Musalam, said the signing of the Universal Declaration of Balanced and Inclusive Education will operationalize a framework of technical and financial cooperation. The Prime Minister took off time to visit a number of strategic infrastructure investments in Djibouti. He visited Dorale Multipurpose Port, which is at the heart of Djibouti's national development. It has modern infrastructure of international standard. The country is developing through the rise of new port sites. This port is located at the entrance to the Red Sea and in the second busiest shipping lane in the world. This makes it a port of choice. He also visited Nagadi railway station, which has 752 kilometers of standard gauge rail. It runs southwards from Nagad railway station towards the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. It has 5 interland stations and it is the main freight station of Djibouti, handling cargo of 106 containers and 20,000 passengers per day. He also visited Djibouti International Free Trade Zone, which is 800 square hectares. It is going to be a one-stop trading center for Africa. It is a 5-year project fully connected with infrastructure such as tarmac roads, water and electricity. The Prime Minister visited Djibouti Telecom. This country is strategically located at the crossroads of the 3 continents, offering the perfect natural getaway to Africa. It is positioning itself as a key telecom hub for Africa and to help partners interconnect with the rest of the world. This story was compiled by Michael Mgerwa for UBC News.
Now, at least 92.2% of the 333,060 candidates who sat senior for examinations last year passed, while the failure rate reduced from 12.8% in 2018 to 7.8%. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has said the practice of compressing the syllabus by teachers and rushing through the curriculum is wrong and contributes to poor performance in examinations. Janet Museveni was releasing this year's Uganda Certificate of Education examinations here in Kampala.
The 2019 Certificate of Education examinations have been released at a ceremony held in Kampala, with more girls sitting for the examination than boys. At least 333,060 candidates sat the UCE exams held in November 2019, compared to 330,721 who sat in 2018. This time round, the number of girls is more than that of boys. The Ministry of Education and Sports plans to strategically prioritize education of the girl child and ensure gender equity. Improved performance of candidates has been registered in biology, geography, agriculture, chemistry and art, while English language, history and commerce had a significant drop. In science subjects like physics and chemistry, 60% of the female candidates were unable to get a pass 8, while only 40.2% of the candidates passed. Uganda National Examinations Board attributes a gap in performance to inadequate syllabus coverage.
Therefore, rush through the curriculum content and skip some topics so that they can live a whole year that it is for revision. And one wonders whether that revision is revising everything that had been prepared in the curriculum or just parts that has been taught. So this is really wrong.
UNEB expressed the need to find out what causes low achievement of girls in science subjects.
Is of the view that there is need to investigate and identify the factors responsible for this phenomenon, with a view to addressing this negative development.
Examiners discovered that proficiency language did not only affect English subject, but was reflected in answers of other subjects.
And it appears the teachers are telling the candidates that the more bombastic words you use, the better. Because some of the words we find in the compositions cannot even be understood by the teachers themselves. Where the chief examiners continue to report problems of question interpretation or candidates not understanding exactly what the questions require, and then they give answers which are inadequate.
In physics, candidates did not exhibit experience in handling apparatus and practical background to do such questions, while in chemistry they wrongly spelled chemical terminologies.
One of the biggest problems in chemistry is that the candidates do not know the steps of balancing equations. This is a very important skill in chemistry, and if they do not understand this now, they will find a lot of problems with chemistry at higher levels.
Sciences are being taught in theory only, and that does not help sciences to be done well. But we are thinking that with the curriculum rollout that's coming out now, we think that even sciences will be done better, because the work that these children do at school right now is a lot, and if they don't have the time to concentrate on sciences, for instance, where you need more time to do practicals, then you come out doing badly.
Results of 1,262 candidates have been withheld for suspected involvement in examination malpractice. These cases have mainly been discovered in science subjects. Meanwhile, parents have been encouraged to consider taking their children to technical vocational institutions to acquire hands-on skills and not only consider Senior 5 and 6. The selection exercise for Senior 5 is set for 13th and 14th February this year. I'm Nafka Farida and Daniel Mugoya reporting.
Thanks, Farid and Daniel, for that report there. Now, 153 police officers have completed a course on public order management ahead of the 2021 general elections. The Chief Instructor, Field Force Unit Edson Bimbwine, says that the training is meant to equip police officers with skills to manage public order and observance of human rights.
Police have sometimes been blamed over violation of human rights, mainly during public demonstration, as a way of imparting professional skills and public order among police officers. Police have started carrying out refresher courses countrywide. The Chief Instructor, Field Force Unit Edson Bamwine, explained that the refresher course was aimed at imparting professional and public order management skills onto the police personnel within the Albertine region.
Arresting techniques, detention, then the categories of the people to be detained, how we cater for them, how we move during arrests, the introduction, like you need to go and introduce yourself, so you bring out your warrant card.
Bamwine says the training aims at restoring police force image and the public perception.
Hours of detention were also captured, and I know from here the errors that were being committed by the officers on course are going to be rectified, and I don't think then we shall have any issues in human rights, especially in this region.
Hoima District Police Commander Martin Okoyo says the training was long overdue and asked the trainees to always observe human rights during public demonstrations.
As you break off, I'm sure there is a lot that you have learnt here, and as we said in the beginning when we opened this course again, when the RPC opened it, that the purpose of this course is to equip all of you with skills and knowledge to perform these duties professionally. Meaning, Chief Guest, that today, as we are passing out these trainees, they have been fed with all relevant skills that will enable them to deliver order into the public whenever there is need, professionally.
The Albertine Region Police CID Head Jackson Tumwine cautioned the police officers against alcoholism and recklessness.
Take what is good for your health, what is good for your thirst. As an officer, you must be 24 hours alert. Take what can quench your thirst. Take what is good for your health. Is that okay? But if some of you were drinking here, others were going to corrupt here. And by the way, on this parade, some of you will be corrupting. So let us control excessive drinking of alcohol and keep ourselves to, we should take
The 2 weeks training attracted 153 police officers and was held at Chihomboza Primary School, Bujumbura Division, Hoima Municipality. Story compiled by Niyonzima George for UBC TV News.
Now, the Inspectorate of Government has disbursed over 500 million shillings for training communities on how to monitor government projects in Western Uganda, especially Ankole sub-region. According to a memorandum of understanding signed this Friday between the Inspectorate of Government and civil society organizations, the districts of Mbarara, Tungamo, Isinjiro, Ibanda and Kiruhura will be able to report findings on corruption and hindrances in service delivery. We have this report.
The Inspectorate of Government has signed a memorandum of understanding with civil society organizations to boost their efforts to report corruption and hindrances in service delivery. The Permanent Secretary of the Inspectorate of Government, Rose Cafero, urged partners to ensure that the monies advanced to them effectively reaches out to the intended communities for purposes of transparency, accountability, and the continued fight against corruption in the country. Cafero advised civil society organizations that the partnership might be stopped once there is no adherence to the terms and conditions of the memorandum.
We trust that when we trust you, you will not betray the trust that we have put in you. You will work with our project officers to ensure that the objectives of the MOUs and the terms of the MOUs are strictly adhered to.
Prior to the signing, the Director of Project Monitoring at the Inspectorate of Government, James Penyui, enumerated the many times government projects have failed due to graft. Penyui cited the Northern Uganda Social Fund, NUSAF 1, as one of those government projects that nearly failed to take off.
The country had to reimburse all the money which was not accounted for. Mind you, this was loan, we paid interest, at the end of the day we were asked to pay back. So it was a complete loss to government.
The IGG's office is set to roll out the transparency, accountability and anti-corruption initiatives countrywide that target training of district chairpersons, RDCs, chief administrative officers, district planners and community development officers with the aim of fighting corruption and maladministration in implementation of government programs. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
18 minutes after 8, we'll now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Dial star 185 star 6 hash, follow the prompts and make instant school fees payments. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Hi, I'm DJ Drogba. On average, almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. As a proud African, this breaks my heart knowing that so many deaths could have been avoided. So when you're on the road, follow these safe steps and help save lives. Multitasking whilst driving is dangerous. Never take your eyes or attention off the road. Keep both hands on the steering wheel at all times. Don't eat or drink. Leave your mobile phone alone. Keep the music down. And stay focused. So when you're on the road, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's road safer.
That's my little angel Rose. Together with millions of other children, my daughter Rose is assured of learning something new every day. Moses, my husband, just like many other commercial farmers, has his business supported so he can provide for us. When my other little one was on the way, even with my pregnancy complications, it was a quick, smooth ride to Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. Also, my new baby was able to make it through his first days with the help of specialized equipment thanks to the reliable electricity which has also been extended throughout the country. All this and more has been made possible because of you.
Join us and together let's do more for our country. Get your free tin at www.ura.go.ug.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome to the Equal Opportunities Commission, an independent statutory body that works towards ensuring that all forms of discrimination, marginalization, and unfair treatment are eliminated. The Equal Opportunities Commission has power of court and can enforce its decisions. It is established and supported by the government of Uganda. It also garners support from development partners, civil society, the private sector, faith-based, and cultural organizations. Visit the Equal Opportunities Commission today, the home of equal opportunities for all, or call us on our toll-free line 0800 100 440. This message is brought to you by the Equal Opportunities Commission with support from the United Nations Human Rights Office.
Welcome back, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. My name is Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. Now, over 120 youths under their umbrella organization, Steady Youth Platform, have toured Kaumu Presidential Demonstration Farm in Luweero District. The youth group from Kampala and Wakiso districts that was led by Mr. Senabulia Frank comprises 62 different subgroups under the main Steady Youth Platform that deals in different enterprises that include fish farming in Nalukolongo, carpentry in Namungona, shoemaking in Kasubi, welding and hairdressing, among others. Now, they sought permission from the president to tour the farm, to which he had no objection, so that they would learn from the different enterprises carried out at the farm.
In November 2016, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni picked up a bicycle, a hoe and a panga to start up a demonstration farm called Kaumu Presidential Demonstration Farm. The president's aim was to interest as many Ugandans to engage in commercial farming as a way of raising their income to better their livelihood. Today, over 120 youth under the umbrella organization Steady Youth Platform have toured Kaumu Presidential Demonstration Farm in Luweero District. The youth group from Kampala and Wakiso districts that was led by Mr. Senabulia Frank comprises 62 different subgroups under the main Steady Youth Platform. The youth who were received at the farm by the Assistant Private Secretary to the President in charge of Agriculture, Mrs. Rosalina Cheng, were advised to take this opportunity tour serious to be able to go back in their groups and share the knowledge they would acquire. The youth were taken on a guided tour by the farm manager, Mr. Nduga Godfrey, to see for themselves and learn from the different enterprises undertaken at the farm that include pineapple, coffee and banana growing, fish farming, poultry and cattle keeping, among others. Mr. Ganduga said that the president's dream is being realized as such groups from all walks of life around the country are pouring in at Kaumu to learn modern agriculture.
I just want to thank His Excellency the President for the initiative because this farm has really helped the youth and all other Ugandans in different areas. We train them the good agricultural practices as you have done it today. We took them through quite a number of enterprises ranging from fish farming, pasture management, nursery management.
The group leader, Mr. Senabulia Frank, thanked the president for the opportunity to tour his farm adding that they are going to be goodwill ambassadors of modern agriculture to fellow youth, not only in Kampala, but also in the whole country.
We really thank the President for this initiative and allowing us to come and visit his farm here at Kaumu. It's been a dream come true that we didn't know people can come here and visit the presidential farm. So
yes, the youth from Kampala and Wakiso districts, of course, touring President Yoweri Museveni's farm, so they can at least pick a leaf from what he does there. Now we are going to do sports straight away, and we look at the transfer window that is open both in Europe and here in Africa, and European clubs are busy sharing players before the closure of the January transfer. Manchester United, Arsenal are among those that have already secured players. Vipers and KCCA have been busy this January like their European counterparts. John Bansentamo reports.
The last day of any transfer window is always a busy one, but mainly in Europe. In Uganda, local clubs do not engage much in the January transfer window. The good players are off the market, re-energizing their clubs before the end of the season. KCCA FC and Viper Sports Club have been the busy ones during the January transfer window. Viper secured services of Paul Muchurezi, former player Milton Kalisa returned and now trains with them, while KCCA FC had to sell off key player Alan Okello to Parandu SC. Mid-table clubs have also made a few signings to strengthen their squads.
I would like to say that the transfers have been complicated by the new transfer system, whereby it must be done online, and negotiations of contracts and the rest. So they are a bit complicated, the transfer system, but progressively our CEOs have been able to get around it and effect some transfers. As far as Maroon is concerned, I think we don't usually like doing business in January because, as you know, January transfers are panicky transfers, like you're trying to fill a gap, okay, that is existing within the team strength.
In Europe, Manchester United made the biggest signing of the transfer window when they signed Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon for 47 million euros. Fernandes has been given the number 18 shirt previously worn by Paul Scholes and lately Ashley Young. Meanwhile, Arsenal have signed Portuguese defender Cedric Soares on loan from Southampton until the end of the season. The 28-year-old has made more than 100 appearances since joining the Saints in 2015. Premier League leaders did their main business by bringing in winger Takumi Minamino at the start of the month, while Sheffield United brought in Norwegian midfielder Sander Berge from Belgian side Genk for a club record fee reported to be 22 million euros. By press time, the total outlay by top flight clubs stands at 185 euros, an increase from 180 million spent last year, but a long way off the 440 million record from 2018.
Transfers going on there, but of course some clubs that really need to buy are the ones that aren't doing so much, the likes of Manchester United. So we've got to wait and see until midnight tonight. Let's have a look now at the weather prospects for tomorrow with Ali Tuvera Juliet at the Weather Center in Entebbe.
Brought to you by NEMA, ensuring sustainable development.
Hello, good evening. Welcome once again to yet another edition of the Weather Report. I'm Alitwela Juliet from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Today, most parts of the country have had showers, and by 9 a.m. this morning, we have received a rainfall report from Bushenyi, 44.9 millimeters of rainfall, Lira 40.1, Gulu 38 millimeters, whereas Masindi reported 15.5 millimeters. From the satellite image taken over Africa, it can show that we have high pressure centers over